This might be a bit controversial, but I'm going to title this video something to the effect of being successful is easy. Just start doing less. And it's controversial in the sense that, to be successful, people think that they have to be above and beyond who they are right now and grow into this new person, all these different things. And it's almost backwards, right? As someone who's made significant change in their lives very, very quickly, I will say that I never had to become anything more. And this is what I notice dealing with these people, right? Through my work in hypnotherapy and coaching, so on and so forth. It's people already know what they need to do to be successful. They already have everything they need to be their version of successful. So it's never that they have to do anything more, that they have to become anything more, right? Growth, when we talk about growth, what we're really doing is forming a better relationship with who we are. So you don't have to become a wizard or a genius in order to be successful. You just have to have a better relationship with who you are and nurture who you are, because you, in your most natural essence, when you stop trying to do the most, when you stop trying to do all the above and beyond things, you, in your most natural essence, are perfect. The definition of perfect for your journey and for what you're trying to do. And it's tough nowadays to really grasp what that means, what that looks like, because especially in today's day and age, we have an abundance of opportunities to compare ourselves to others. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, we're always comparing our lives to other people. This is part of why I show up the way I do. Very simply, I might wear my Vortex of Envy brand, but other than that, I'm usually, you guys know this, I'm here in like a coat or a white t-shirt or a black t-shirt, because I want you guys to, when you hear this, I really want it to resonate with you on just like a very common level. I want you guys to feel as though, we're sitting in the car together talking. Because the way Instagram and all these platforms are, it's like, we're comparing likes, we're comparing, comments, we're comparing numbers, we're comparing what car we drive. And so that is like all of these things and above and beyond that, right? Have caused it to, people have to learn how to be themselves again, is what I'm trying to say, right? People get caught up in comparison. They get caught up with manifestation techniques and tactics. Oh, I gotta do the 3-6-9 method. I gotta script and journal every day and all these things. And it's like, you don't, right? People think they have to try and become confident. They have to try to become confident. No, you have to try and accept yourself. You have to accept yourself. You have to accept the way you communicate, whether you have an accent, whether you are soft-spoken, whether you are extroverted, introverted, whether you don't like talking at all. You have to accept that. You have to get to know yourself. You have to spend time with yourself and love yourself. Because when you do, when you respect yourself for the way you are in your most natural essence, you begin to build your business or your path or your life around that. You stop trying to become someone else and start building your path around who you are, right? It's almost like parenting yourself again. And that's the great thing about adulthood, is we have an opportunity to reparent ourselves again, right? And so like what I do primarily is the wellness work, the hypnosis, hypnotherapy, things like that, and the coaching. But really all that is not about making you into someone spectacular or grand. No, what I'm really doing, and I don't really say this up front, but what I'm really doing is helping people settle into themselves again before all of the stuff happened, all the baggage happened, right? We are being taught in the world of wellness and manifestation and all these things, we're being taught that we have to change who we are, that we have to shift into a new identity. When I talk about an identity shift, I'm really talking about you, or us rather, being who we are as kids, right? With a boundless imagination, with a incredibly sensitive and powerful intuition, and being okay with that. Kids are blank slates. They just are, before they get these boundaries set up for their lives and then what they think is possible for themselves, right? And all the work that I do is to remind you that, wow, okay, The most successful version of you is in between each thought of doubt, between each breath and moment of hesitation. That space, that void that you're trying to skip over, that's the most successful version of you. And the most successful version of you, this isn't to say that you stop, being disciplined, or you stop holding yourself accountable. Those things matter, right? That's part of being an adult, right? That's part of being an adult. But this most successful version of you is it's not a state. It's not a finite state that you ever reach. It's the act, it's the process, it's the path, it's the stream of getting up every day and following through on what you want to do, and acting in a way that lights you up, and doing meaningful work. That is success. And then as you walk that path, you find these little gold nuggets on the way. That is the income you want, or the house you want, or the relationship you want. It's on the path. It's a path, right? It's a series of events that you choose in every given moment that leads you to these things. And your compass is how you feel. Do you feel expansive or restricted and contracted in every moment, in every action, in every choice? That is how you tell. That is your detector, right? That is your compass. And your compass points to north when you're following through on the things that light you up. When you're exhausted because you've given all of your energy for something good. When you can go to bed and say, you know what, I did something good in the world today, right? And that version of you is always improving. You might be at a point in your life where you say, you know what, I need professional help, or I need to seek out a coach or a hypnotherapist. That does not mean that. So the act of doing that is you as your best version of yourself, because the best version of you is always looking to improve. They are always improving, right? So there's no, the illusion of perfection it's an illusion, right? You'll never get there. It's the path. Are you always looking to improve yourself? Are you always reading? Are you always going to therapy? Are you always being vulnerable at the right times? You know what I mean? Like, to be human, like, you can still have the ups and down days, right? The path of success still very much has the ups and down days, the days where you don't feel great about yourself. But the difference is the most successful version of you sees that in perspective and says, you know what? Thank you for the clarity. Let's try again, right? Let's try again. This is why every successful person, everyone, has a mentor or a coach or someone in their corner who they can be vulnerable with, or who's looking to guide them. But this is they're just so settled into themselves, right? And people get this idea of, the most confident version of myself is, I never doubt myself, or I never procrastinate, or anything like that. No, it's the most successful version of you is just so okay with who they are and with being human, right? When you get to and when you start to do that, okay, when you start to, when you get there in terms of your mentality, you realize that there's no tactic. All you have to do is just be confident in your decisions, meaning saying to yourself, and I literally say this in my head, I'm not going to listen to anybody else. I'm just going to do what I have to do, right? And what happens is, yes, you make mistakes. Yes, you go left when you should have gone right, and vice versa. But you make the mistakes that were meant for you. And then you randomly one day get to a point where you're like, holy smokes, look at my life. Look at what I've been able to build. It's because you're standing on all of those, what you thought were mistakes, which really gives you a higher vantage point to look out into the world and to now see your desired reality. But this is one of the toughest things with people who are new to their wellness journey, their manifestation journey, is there's all these techniques. There's all these motivational posts. There's all these things, these gurus and stuff like that. And, I try my best not to come off as that. I try to show up as a person, but you never know what people want to label you as. But they get overwhelmed with what technique they're supposed to do at what time. Should I listen to my hypnosis audio in the morning and night? Should I should I journal every day? Just do the thing that reinforces you to stay in the stream. 99% of the game, 99% of this battle, whatever you want to call it, is just keeping yourself in the game, right? Just keep yourself in the stream. I have stretches a lot where I don't journal. I falter on my meditation practice. I might eat junk food and stuff like that, but like I never allow myself to say, what, that makes me a bad person or that makes me imperfect. No. There's beauty in being flawed. And of course, it's on me to say, what, I owe the world something. Let's get back to where we need to be. Let's get back to the stream of self-improvement. This you being in the stream of success is you being in the stream of self-improvement. Let's put it that way, right? There's nothing that you have to do in terms of shifting identities, right? Or shall I say, you don't need to become, you don't need to put a label on yourself, right? You need to remember who you are. And this was the most perplexing advice I ever received, but it's like, your purpose is like, stop looking for answers and start remembering who you are. When you remember who you are, and maybe the fact that you don't like going outside, or maybe the fact that like you love just spending time on the internet, you love talking about cartoons or whatever it is, whatever, just all the little abstract things that make you weird, that is what's going to make you successful. The parts of you that are weirdest and most abstract are going to make you successful once you learn to love them and embrace them and share them with the world, right? Could you imagine, like, 5 years ago, me getting on here and talking about hypnosis and hypnotherapy? Like, there's a reason why I didn't talk about any of the stuff with my friends or family. It's because it would come off as weird. It would come off as very weird. And so I was scared. I needed someone else's validation, but then, I had to get to a point where, like, wow, it's either this or the corporate world, right? And I genuinely get fulfillment from helping people, from seeing their before and after stories in the way that mine was. So how about we do this work, and how about we own it? And of course, the weirder it is, the more of a unique lane you have. And everybody, and this is the toughest thing to understand, is everybody, including yourself, has their own reserved, unique lane that nobody else has ever walked down. The reason why most people find it so hard to get to a place of success, abundance, and material wealth is because they are trying to walk a path that someone else has already walked, because they see them on their Instagram feed and they get inspired by them. And the tough thing about getting inspired by someone is it's very easy to try and become that person instead of just being yourself, right? That's very, very tough. And what you might want to do, and this is what I did, is just block everyone, or unfollow everyone rather, or just make a new account on a different platform, or just make a new account that nobody knows about, right? Because we are often very limited by our friends and family, especially our close ones, because we love them and we want to preserve what we think they think we are. It's weird. You see all these illusions we have to make ourselves, that we make to make ourselves feel safe, right? It's very odd when you really think about it. And then one of the most liberating things, and I want you to just believe this. Like, I don't want to try and convince you. I just want you to believe this, is nobody's watching you. Because they're really not. Nobody's watching you. Nobody is no, and even if they were, and even if they didn't like what you were doing, they couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't stop you. And when you genuinely get to that point of realization that literally nobody can stop you, like there's not a single thing they can do, you will find liberty in that. And I hope that will make you cut the chains off of whatever you're doing in your head and let yourself soar. We are all ready to soar right now. We have our angel wings that are flapping, but we have put the chains on ourselves and are trying to hold ourselves down for some reason. Well, the reason is we want to feel safe. We want to preserve a made-up identity, right? So that people don't make fun of us or whatever it is. But, just I could summarize this whole video with saying just be yourself, but people have to, it's so weird, and this tells you about where we are in a society and the fact that it's designed to make you question ourselves. It's hard because people don't know what being yourself means anymore. It's something we have to learn to do again, because in between us as kids and where we are right now, there's been so much information and examples of who we are supposed to be, especially in the corporate world. You have to be politically correct. You have to be well-spoken. You cannot say anything that might remotely offend anyone. You have to learn how to be yourself again. And if you don't, you get fired, or you get ostracized, or exiled. It's crazy. It's crazy. And this is why people say, the world is full of robots. It's because it really is. It really is, right? I did not start seeing success as an entrepreneur until I started learning how to be myself again. And learning how to be myself again included a lot. You guys know my story. If you see my old videos, like a lot of moments of being dead broke, like tens of thousands of dollars in debt, failed businesses, doing the walk of shame, applying to corporate jobs again, nobody hiring me, so on and so forth, like a lot of that. But I stuck with it because that was better than signing my life away as a robot, So I hope that I gave you guys a lot of information, but I hope that can provide you some relief. Don't get caught up in comparison and techniques, right? You'd be much better. The less you have to focus on, the better, right? I live by that 80-20 rule in every aspect of my life, in every area of my life. 20% of the exercises I do in the gym will get me 80% of the results I want. 20% of the things that I have on my to-do list actually matter, right? And will get me 80% of the way. 20% of the things I say in this video cover 80% of what I wanted to say, right? 20% of the thoughts you have actually matter. 20% of the things you have on your to-do list are actually worth focusing on. And it's your job to identify the 20%, and how you identify the 20% in every area of your life is when you stop questioning yourself, stop asking yourself, and start feeling yourself. That's from a Drake song. You are intuitive, incredibly intuitive. The moment you stop asking yourself and you start feeling yourself, right? The moment you resign from asking other people what you should or should not do, or how you should and should not show up, and you just start doing it. You just start showing up, right? Because we all know deep down internally what we want to be, who we are, the path we want to walk down. If we don't know the career, because oftentimes a lot of us don't fit into one job or one career, one box, the lifestyle you want. And what happens is you can't see the future. Our brains are not designed to see the future. Our brains only perceive the present moment. So let's stop trying to foresee the future, right? Making a plan for your life is great, but make it based on who you want to be and how you want to feel, not try to predict the exact sequence of events that's going to happen in your life. Make a plan in terms of phases. This phase I want growth. The next phase I want wealth. The next phase I want relationships and abundance. Make it like that, right? And this is something I have to remind myself a lot of, right? The moments in my life, the periods in my life, including right now, where I've made the most progress rapidly, built the business, provided the most transformation in clients, so on and so forth, is when I started devoting myself to being very simple. Anything else that felt like baggage, including people, places, and things, I let go of. Because it's just weighing us down, spiritually, energetically, and mentally. Right? It's weighing us down. And when I start focusing on maybe 2 or 3 things, ideally 1 thing on a day-to-day basis, and just on a macro basis, meaning weeks, months, and years, you soar. You just naturally soar. It's like the chains have been cut and been released. So do whatever you have to do to preserve that focus, and that focus will give you peace of mind, which is the ultimate state of abundance. It's peace of mind. Because these thoughts we have weight. It's like they have an energetic weight to them, right? And thoughts of doubt are really heavy, because one thought of doubt leads to another, and it compounds, and it just becomes this very heavy mental weight, and we just expend so much mental energy on that, right? And I doubt myself all the time. Anyone who has seen any sort of success still doubts themselves, but they say, you know what? They laugh. It's like, oh, here it is again, the doubt. But regardless, let's do what we need to do to make this a beautiful life, to show up in the world, to make today a beautiful day. Let's just do what we have to do. You know, that's it. That's how simple this life can get. Steve Jobs, one of my favorite entrepreneurs, if not my favorite, said, genius is simplicity. Genius is simplicity, right? People who have achieved simplicity in their life, in their thought pattern, in who they are, defining themselves by maybe 1 to 3 characteristics, they live beautiful lives. They have beautiful days. They exist in a stream of abundance. You know, great things just keep happening to them because they're simple. And what happens when we're simple is we give space, we give an opportunity for the world to actually give us what we want, and we free our hands to receive the blessings that we want. Right? Genius is simplicity. That's why the iPhone, you know, only ever had one button on the front. It's simplicity, right? People who are very well thought out often just speak in really simple terms. You know, of course there are exceptions to the rules, but when I speak to clients, especially when we're doing like initial consultations, you can see that they're desperate, and I get it, because I've been desperate many times in my life for change. These are the people who get results. They want it, but they think that they're not good enough, or they think they have to become something more than who they are. Maybe you need better habits, sure, but I never make them feel like they have to stack a bunch of things in order to climb. This is not a climb. There's no climbing a mountain to become the best version of you. There's no climbing a mountain. It's just realizing that you are success. Like you are it. You are it, and they told you you're not. Or what you see on Instagram makes you feel like you're not, because you don't have the money or the cars or the clothes or the house or the relationship or the lifestyle or the jet. You feel like you're not. You feel like you're not it. Take the weirdest parts of you, the parts that you're not afraid, that you are afraid to talk about, and share them with the world. I'm telling you, that's how this whole thing turns around real quick. Because there's a billion people in this world. I guarantee you there's a million of them that are waiting for someone like you, waiting for someone who communicates exactly like you, who's been through what you've been through, who comes from the place, the country, the town that you come from, right? Who has gone through the troubles you've had, you know, who is raising a family or maybe not, who is stuck in a corporate job or trying to start a business, who is waiting for someone like you to talk about your story so they can be like, oh, I found my person. That's how it always happens. That's how it always happens, right? And they love you for you, or they don't even have to love you, but they appreciate who you are. They appreciate your flaws, you know. They appreciate, and what inspires them most is not what you've been able to achieve. It's not your certifications. It's not your qualifications. It's the fact that you had the guts to accept everything about yourself and say, this is me. This is me. Here I am. This is me, without the sugar coating, without the makeup, without the mask. This is me. And that's what inspires people, right? I spoke about this in my last video about imposter syndrome, but that's what inspires people. It's not the qualifications or the certifications or the fact that you have PhD behind your name or whatever it is. It's the person who is most passionate. That's who people will pay to work with. That is who people will pay, or who will subscribe to and watch, right? It's the person who's most passionate. Point blank period. Point blank period. You know. So being successful is when I say being successful is easy. You see where I'm getting at right now? It's a lot of people will disagree, and that's okay. But I think what lies under that disagreement is the fact that, you know, well, if it's easy, why isn't everybody doing it? Well, look at the society we live in, and look at what a human's natural instinct is. It's to belong. And so when we try to belong, we compromise parts of ourselves that we think are not wanted in order to fit in with other people, in order to be liked by other people, right? And it's easy once you realize that that is stuff that you made up. At some point along the way, or in different moments along the way, you kept feeding and nurturing that illusion. You know? And one day you'll go for a walk. It'll be a sunny morning or a sunny afternoon on like a Saturday or whatever it is. And you'll be like, wow, there's nothing else to do. There's nothing else I need to do. I just got to keep making myself feel like I'm walking in purpose. And walking in purpose means just you're reading, you're improving yourself, or you are making time for relaxation or stuff like that. Like your day is defined by, okay, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z because I want to feel great, because I want to be the best version of myself. There's a purpose behind each activity, right? And most people, they do things every day, but there's no purpose behind it. They do it mindlessly. That's not what you want, Anyway, so here we are, coming up on half an hour. I'm going to leave this video as it is. I'm not going to edit my videos. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. My only ask is that you just give this video a like. Just give it a thumbs up, because that's the main thing. It's not subscribers, it's not comments, it's the likes. That's the main thing that YouTube uses to, one of the main things to push these videos out, apart from watch time and stuff like that. So give this video a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.